would be the same preservatives you'd find in Twinkies, and
Right. No,
this was food-based preservatives. It was the additives,
chemical additives.
It was the chemical additives that were boosting the nicotine, or boosting the effect of the nicotine.
Right. Yeah.
So this caught eye of the United States. The United States beforehand already made was it ATF, which is alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
Yeah.
And it was actually roughly around that same time they were discovering cancer and cancer issues.
Right, and the link between cigarettes and cancer.
And so when ATF happened, ATF kind of blew up on this issue and started going apeshit on every tobacco product, period, that was in their path. A lot of people on the federal side didn't do much research on all their tobacco. They just saw what the ATF was saying big tobacco companies, which at the time are cigarette companies, the biggest tobacco companies there, are selling products that cause cancer. And so up pops up Surgeon General,
right,
and the issues that you have to put on
right, all of
things
the
like
warning
this,
labels that you have to put on any tobacco product.
Mm-hmm. Granted, like cigars like this and pipes, they have carbon dioxide when you're smoking it. Carbon dioxide does have some chemical compound with it that can cause cancer, but it's the amount of it that causes issue. What was the one thing that you found out about cigars? Like how many?
You mean carbon monoxide?
Carbon monoxide. That's what it is.
Not dioxide. Carbon monoxide. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So
the thing that you found out about like cigars, like how many daily?
Yeah.
Supposed to be?
First, So like you were saying, the carbon monoxide, but the carbon monoxide that's produced from these is so small that it doesn't really cause that much of an issue. And the FDA did some research and they put out a study of their own, and they came to find out that even smoking 1 to 2 cigars a day has almost no effect on your body. And so I personally, just for regular consumers like you and I don't know anybody like us who would smoke even close to that many. And the only people I know of that would smoke that many is people who are actually in the cigar industry.
And that being said, too, like, even then, how much nicotine is in one cigar is a lot.
Quite a bit, yeah.
And so you wind up getting this thing called a nicotine rush if you wind up smoking enough. I've gotten the nicotine rush before.
Yeah, if you smoke enough cigars, or if you haven't eaten in a while and you are smoking a cigar, you can get this nicotine rush. But the nicotine itself is not really a problem for your body. It doesn't cause any super big, it's not a big issue.
I talked my cigar out.
Oh, you're talking way too much. It's gone out again. Huh?
Yep.
Yeah, the culture doesn't help either.
Nope. But yeah, so, smoking 1 or 2 a day. Oh, I'm almost out of fuel in this.
For most people,
isn't bad.
Not going to be an issue, because as we already said,
I am almost far enough to say that if you smoke 1 or 2 cigars a day, your chance of getting cancer is slim to none.
Still slim to none. Yeah. And the thing is, 1 to 2 cigars is, I would say, easily the equivalent of an entire pack of cigarettes. Mm-hmm. And there are plenty of people out there who smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, if not more.
That being said, and I think people on here have heard my challenge that I want to do, the Big John, or not Big Johnny, but the Woody.
Yeah, the Woody.
That one's definitely like more than just 2 cigars in one setting.
Yeah, that is a huge giant cigar that definitely has an extremely high nicotine count. So you better make sure that you are well fed and in a well ventilated area. One
of these days, I'll want to do a Woody. Right. I don't know if I'll wind up recording it on a show.
Podcast, yeah. I don't know.
Nevertheless, I want to do a Woody.
Yeah, it would be interesting to try it out. I think we both need to have the Big Johnny first, though.
I
think that'll be a good test.
Good test first. But yeah. So, ATF goes crazy. Big regulations start happening on there. And then something happens. The good old Camel, the oldest company now, is make Joe Camel. Kind of one of the worst decisions, yet the best decision that Camel's ever made. It's one of those any publicity is good publicity, regardless of good or bad. So Camel Company makes Joe Camel.
Right.
And depending on how young you are out there, you should have at least have heard of Joe Camel. Joe Camel is the mascot of Camel cigarettes. And they used to have this thing called Cool as a Camel on part of their cigarettes, with this camel with sunglasses and a leather coat with a cigarette in his mouth.
Right. Yep.
Now, ATF and some really high liberal weirdos, best way I can describe it without offending people, start seeing this as a big problem because it's appealing to children. And obviously cigarettes cause damage to people's lungs and cause cancer. Therefore, you're giving kids cancer if you're advertising cigarettes to kids. And so that's where the big war between federal government and the big tobacco companies happened. Because of this, unfortunately, it hurts all tobacco because the ATF is still thinking tobacco. They're not thinking the additives.
They're not thinking just cigarettes.
Yeah.
Or cigars or pipe tobacco. They just lump tobacco all into one big group.
Exactly. And so on goes the battle. Ooh. I got really toasty. I got buttons on the back of my jacket and they're getting hot. Anyway.
Better scoot forward a little bit there.
Yeah. Anyway, so big tobacco companies are getting issues. Getting regulated. And this hurts all tobacco companies all around.
Right.
That being said, some of the big tobacco companies were doing some shifty business money-wise.
Yep.
As well.
Yep.
But anyway, long story short, ATF finds out that it's actually the cigarette companies that's the issue, not the cigars, not the pipes. But they've already shoved a shit ton of regulation out there, the Surgeon General regulation, regulating people to buy tobacco, which, I mean, protective-wise, I still agree with it. Regardless if it's a cigar tobacco or cigarette tobacco, wait until the age that your state requires you to do it.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Almost talked this one out second time or third time.
There you go.
And do it that way. They finally did that. The FDA's regulation on cigar tobacco isn't as bad. It just says, keep an eye on it. It does have some cancer-causing, which is the carbon monoxide issue. And the high nicotine, because you are smoking more tobacco than a cigarette. That being said, the cigarette companies haven't gone back on their preservatives or their other additives. There are some cigarettes that, if you are going to smoke cigarettes, that I would suggest are a little bit better. Was it the natural? What's it called? Has the Native American guy on it?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember the name.
I can't remember either. We don't smoke cigarettes.
So we don't
couldn't tell you what name it is.
We don't pay attention.
But nevertheless, the ones that are like all natural, it's just all it is tobacco wrapped in paper with a filter.
Yeah. I still wouldn't suggest them, though. A good cigar will beat out that any day.
Mm-hmm.
You seriously go out again? You need to borrow mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Here you go.
I can't believe it's either that cold or I'm talking too much. There you go.
Man, chatty Kathy over here is not paying enough attention to her cigar. There you go. Now you're good.
But yeah, that's kind of the history of it. They have put out, as of recently, and when I mean recently, I mean 2015.
Yeah,
within pipe
the
tobacco.
Last few years.
But it's mostly like, and I don't know how true this study is because of propagandaing and that is high school age students smoking pipes or smoking cigars.
Right.
And the percentage thereof. It kind of seems like retardedly high when I see it. Oh, almost looks like we might have to end this show soon. So, but yeah, it looks kind of retardedly high on it.
Right.
You have anything else to say on this weird conspiracy of mine that I'm into?
I don't know. I personally think that there's really little to no risk in cigars and pipe tobacco just because of the fact that it is 100% pure tobacco product. There's no additives, there's no chemicals, there's no preservatives in any of the cigars or pipe tobacco.
Exactly.
So I personally think that there's really not any real issues health-wise with them.
And same here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't suggest cigarettes. I've tried chewing tobacco once. I really wouldn't suggest it. It wasn't really my thing. I just wanted to try it to see what the whole hoopla was on it.
Right.
That is a big cancer-causing thing too because of the preservatives and stuff.
Yeah.
That was one of my first times I had a really big nicotine rush was from that because it.
Yeah, a lot of.
Holy shit! It hits.
Yeah, a lot of mouth cancer problems with chewing tobacco.
But if you're into that, good for you. I mean,
yep.
Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah. Really quick here, why don't we give a last review of these and
do our ads.
Some ratings, yeah. So you are well into it now, about halfway there. So
even though I relit it a few times, I'm blaming all that on myself.
Right.
I'm still getting the same good flavors.
Okay, good. What would you?
It's gotten a little bit less chocolatey.
Oh, okay.
But and a little bit more hearty.
Okay.
But nevertheless, it is
earthy.
Really good.
Are you getting
definitely a little bit more earthy?
Leather or wood at all on there?
Like a very, very leathery.
Leather, okay. You're still getting those cooking spices too?
Yes, I'm still getting the cooking spices.
Okay, so the cocoa is mellowed out and kind of transformed into this leatheriness mixed with those cooking spices. Very nice.
How I'd rate it, this is really, really good cigar. The PDR
Yeah.
company has done wonderful